Alright guys, you know what, forget the intro, let's get straight into the action. The most important thing here that I'm going to talk about, first and foremost, much more than anything else, is Kurapika collapsing. Now, I know that took only 2 pages and just a few frames, and I'm pretty sure that it's not something that is really big on the mind of the author, given all the detail that he gave to it, because we never saw much of the reaction from everyone else. So it's something he'll build upon later, but let's look at what we know. We know that he heard some noise, that Kurapika heard some noises from when he was talking to Bill. And apparently, I think that his senses were heightened in the fact that you said that this noise was deafening when Bill was talking to him. We know that he got dizzy based on all the graphics. Well, it's not graphics, the way that they drew his eyes, like it was shaking a bit and his vision was getting blurred, and we can assume that he got a little bit dizzy and collapsed. So the end result is that he collapsed, and let's wonder why. Now the most important thing that we have to go off is that given that he's been using Emperor's time for 3 hours now, and every hour of Emperor's time drains a considerable amount of energy, guys. So you know what? 1 hour of Emperor's time equals this is hard for me to say, but using Emperor's time for 1 hour equals losing 150 days from your lifespan. There are 366 days in a year, so it's approximately 43 or 44% of a year that you're losing with every hour that you stay in Emperor's time. Emperor's time has been active for 3 hours, so that's 450 days. So you know what, guys? It's not looking good at all for Kurapika. Kurapika has lost well over a year of his life right now. So this is really frustrating. Another thing that we have to look at, remember when Gon and Killua was training with Biscuit, and they were trying to hold their Ren up so they can go and fight Knuckle and Shoot, and it took them, they had to maintain their Ren for 3 hours, right? And over time they would actually pass out because they were exhausted, they were tired. That's something similar to what's happening here. I think it's really Nen depletion that's happened to Kurapika. I remember that using Nen also carries a physical strain on your body. So using the Emperor's time, given that he has so many risks, must also carry a great physical strain. Now, what the fuck did Queen Oito say just before Kurapika collapsed? Because we saw where Prince Mariam got killed and she was grief-stricken, and Kurapika never wanted to put her into such a precarious situation where she had to continue working to get information on the other princes, even though she felt so terrible. And Kurapika brought it up to her and she said that, you know, it's fine, it's not like I'm doing this because I'm worried about you, I'm doing this for Prince Wobble. And I'm like, this bitch, it's in my live reaction, guys. So you know what, it's very important that we look at how characters are developing here, because in the first instance she was like, yes Kurapika, we'll trust you, and Kurapika used the stealth dolphin and equipped the ability on her that she could use to manipulate the insects to find out information about the princes. And now she's like, you know what, it's not like I'm worried about you. So there are many ways we can look at it, there are many things that could be happening, but we have to take things at face value at some point. One of the princes got killed, and this is, I'm going to address it right now. I've been saying from the very first day, well, chapter 361, that there is no way that we're going to go through this entire arc. Well, not the entire arc, that we're going to go through the entire boat ride, I'm going to call it, until we reach the Dark Continent and not have people get killed. And I also predicted that it's going to be an entire bloodbath before we even get there. Now the first prince has been killed, not to my surprise. Well, I was surprised given how fast things developed. It was like 6 pages before that prince was killed and in a body bag. I'm telling you, Togashi was wasting no time here. But the idea that I'm getting at is that it's something that I expected. And given the situation, given that these guys should be stuck in the situation, you would expect that people are going to get killed. I don't think Queen Oito's reaction to it is very, I'm not going to say appealing, but I'm going to say it's very warm, given the situation. We never expected her to jump for joy, but we never expected her to shun the one person who is sacrificing his life to save her. And that's by them I mean her and her son, because if they get a chance they will also kill the queen. Now there's something that I need to look at as well. The guardian beasts themselves also have security, hold up with it. The guardian beasts themselves also have security duties for the princes which they protect. Given that Prince Wobble is normally sleeping, you know he's a baby, he'll tie you up very easily, and he's a very young baby, I don't think he can even walk. Isn't that something that we should be afraid of? Because given that Prince Wobble is just a baby, there is no way his Nen beast can be very strong to protect him from someone who is a fully grown adult, even maybe a younger child. So they do need Kurapika. I'm not certain of how adept Bill is at combat, given the way he handled Vincent, and that's the first guard from Prince Benjamin's crew where he was getting shot and he uses hand and Nen to block all his vital organs. I'm thinking that he has some combat ability, but there is something that we should look at. If Kurapika can't fight, that puts, well, perhaps not fight, but if Kurapika is out like in a coma or something, that puts in a very, very tricky situation. Because now we have a lot of princes, 12 of them in fact, who wants to come to form an alliance of sorts to gain information and men. All bar the 13th prince, no, the 12th prince that was killed, and the 2nd and the 6th prince. So we also have a bodyguard from Prince Benjamin coming. We already have one already in Bhavimaina, and there's something I was looking at in Bhavimaina in this chapter. Bhavimaina has been cooperating, so I'm wondering, is he going through some sort of a mental crisis? And perhaps not a crisis where he's freaking out and things, but is he starting to really question the morals that he's defending? Soldiers aren't allowed to do that, I suppose. But given that he's helping Kurapika to achieve information on the other princes, and he raised his end so that the queen could be at ease, and he's leaving the room and giving Kurapika full control of the security detail for the queen, and you know, it's something I'm starting to think about. And the queen really gave a cheeky response when he asked her, you know what, you only could have been detrimental to yourself, you could only be putting yourself in a bad position given the way that you reacted to everything that was happening, so why did you do it? And the way that she responded to it was very cheeky, because she's saying that, you know what, for all you girls out here that are so bloodthirsty and wants to fight, it must be very stupid of me to act like it's something of a big deal when someone's daughter is getting killed, isn't it? What she's really saying is that you guys won't understand what it means to lose a child. That's like a mother as well speaking there. And for Bhavimaina, I think that's what really triggered the reaction in him that it triggered, because then he realized that the queen doesn't care much about her security as much as she cares about the others as well. It's not only for Prince Wobble, it's for the others as well. And there can be nothing good coming out of a war amongst siblings, guys. I'm telling you, there's nothing good that will ever come out of it. Of course, there's something very important to the one, but the means by which you go about it is not very productive. Not in entirety, and not in the sense of running a country in the end. But you know what? I'm not the king of cocking. I don't get to choose this shit. Also, let's talk about Prince Tserriendnich. He's making gains. He is using Gyo fantastically. Like, I saw it in the manga and I was like, And I think he's starting to get control of his Nen beast. When he was asking Theta about learning Nen in 2 weeks, because of what Kurapika said, I'm almost certain that given the way that Theta was starting to answer him, he was the one who made the Nen beast, that's his guardian Nen beast, appear right behind her. Like, you could see in a few panels where she reacted a little bit and you could see the beast walking behind her, and then in a full panel next to it, I think it's on page 17, like page 17 or 18, one of them, and in the next panel you could see where the Nen beast was really right behind her and the face of the Nen beast was looking at her. And it's in the last panel actually, it said that one wrong move could mean death. So we don't know where this is going. If he doesn't agree with Theta's answer, he will kill her. And if he sends a guard, I don't think he's sending a guard out because it should be the 2nd prince or is he the 5th? Not important right now. But if he sends a guard and learns that it's actually possible to learn them in 2 weeks, it's really not, then he will kill her. So that's not above Tserriendnich. Now, where does this leave us with Tserriendnich? He is a natural, and I think he'll be the main rival to Prince Benjamin for the throne. Now there are the princes, like I said, that I do think will pose a threat, that I do think are favorites for the throne. But as far as things go, Prince Benjamin and Tserriendnich are as good as their best will ever get. Prince Wobble as well, given the idea that Prince Wobble is being protected by Kurapika. So there are many ways to go about this. And for the next chapter, there are a few things that we should look out for. We should look out for the continuation of that conversation between Prince Tserriendnich and Theta. We should also look out for Prince Benjamin's reaction for what happened. We should look out for Hanzo and Biscuit getting more involvement. We should look out for what happens with Kurapika. Look out for what happens with Queen Oito. Look out for how Bhavimaina proceeds going forward. I don't think he's going to be killed. I don't think he's going to be killed right now if he is killed. So I don't know if there is a possible ally in him, but I don't see him going against Prince Benjamin. The reason is they have poison in their mouth to kill themselves at the last minute if someone is about to restrain them or interrogate them. So there isn't something that really says to me, you know what, this guy's a good guy, he'll join us now. No. So there's a lot to look forward to. And guys, where is Crollo, god damn it? Okay, the spiders are supposed to be on board, so where is Crollo? Perhaps they're leaving, perhaps Togashi is leaving them for the Dark Continent. I don't know. There was a teaser like 2 chapters ago. And I'm really excited for that. So thank you guys for watching. It's been Mangarees and I appreciate your support.